In this lecture, I'm going to talk about the buffered stream. In the previous lecture, we have mentioned about the file input stream and the data input stream. And buffered stream is something in between, or you can use the buffer stream with the file input streams. The buffer input stream and buffer output stream are also the subclass of the filter input stream. Filter input stream is a base class, while buffer input stream and the buffer output stream, they are buffered data but without much processing on the data content. Buffer streams. Java introduced buffer streams that speed up input and the output by reducing the number of read and write. The reads and writes mentioned here is about the disk access or file access. Each read and write will take some time, but if you buffer a lot of bytes in your memory, then you don't need that much disk or internet access. In the case of input, a bunch of data is read all at once instead of one byte at a time. In the case of output, data first cached into a buffer, then written altogether to the file. Using buffer stream is highly recommended. Buffer stream, buffer input stream, buffer output stream can be used to speed up input and output by reducing the number of disk reads and writes. Disk reads and write, not your program reads and writes. Using buffer input stream, the whole block of data on the disk is read into the buffer in the memory once. The individual data are then delivered to your program from the buffer as shown in the figure A. Using buffered output stream, the individual data are first written to the buffer in the memory. When the buffer is full, all data in the buffer are written to the disk once, as shown in figure B. So you fit the data into the buffer until it is full, and then we write once to the disk. Buffer stream constructors. We can assign the input stream, sometimes it's the file input stream, and then the buffer size. Same thing for the output stream. And then we can have reader and writer, that's the character streams, similar to the input stream. Let's look at this viewFile.java. View a file in the text area. The user enters a file name in the text field and click View button. The file is then displayed in the text area. This program view file is a JFrame. That's a frame in swing. And then we add a button view, and then we also add a field that takes in the file name, and then one text area that will display the file. In the main program, we will first create a frame that has the area of 400 pixels by 300 pixels, and then we will set it as visible. That's our main program. And then in the view file constructor, we will create a panel P, and then in the panel P, we add in the border layout. That's the layout for the panel. And then we add one label, and then add the text field to read in the file name. And then we set the background for the text field as yellow color, and the text as the red color. And then we add one scroll pane on the right so that you can scroll for the file. And then we set the content area for this view file and add its border as center. And at the end, we register an action for the button so that we can click and then read in the file. And then for the view button, if it got clicked, we will perform the show file. And for show file, using the file name read in from the text area, and then we create a buffered reader and set that buffer reader's handler to in file. After that, we read in line by line and then display to the file area. Let's run the program. So right here, first the JFrame got created, and then we can put in the file name we want to view. let's just use this view file.java. And then when we click view, it will perform the show file method. And let's stretch the file. And scroll bar can be used. And this program file has been read in from the buffered reader into the buffer area, and then put into this text area of the view file program in the JFrame. Let's return to the slides. This is one example of using the buffered input. Let's look at another. We have another demo program called FileDialogDemo.java. It will create a simple notepad using JFileChooser to open and save files. The notepad enables the user to open an existing file, edit the file, and save the note into the current file or to a specified file. You can display and edit the file in the text area. Let's look at the program. Let's open this program. This file dialog demo extends JFrame, so it's another frame. It's a window program. And then in this program, we have JMenu item, JMI open, JMI save, and JMI exit, and JMI about. That's the menu options. And then we have JText area. Again, this one is to show the file. And then JLabel for the status bar. And then we have JFileChooser. That one is to open the dialog to choose a file. In the main program, we just initiate the frame and set the frame to be 300 by 150 and set it visible. And for the constructor of this file dialog, basically we create one menu bar and add that menu bar to our frame. And then we create a file menu, and then that file menu being added to the menu bar, and then help menu also to the menu bar. And then we create 4 menu items: open, save, exit, and about. Those menu items will be added into the file menu, and then those menu items will also have action listener. When the action listener got an event, then this action performed will be the event handler. It will check if the command is open, then will execute the open method. Otherwise, if it is save, it will perform the save method. And if it is about, it will pop up a new message dialog to show demo using file dialog. And if it is exit, then the program will terminate. For the open, this file chooser will get a selected file. And open file is actually the inner method for the open without argument, as shown on the top line. And this open file will read in the file name, and then will create a file input string, and then attach to the buffer input string. So the file will be attached to the buffer by using this statement. And then after that, we create a buffer using in.available. And then we read data with that size into that buffer, and then append those buffer data to the text area, jta.append, using that. And then the input string got closed. And then on the status bar, we will show that this file has been opened. And for save, similar to open, if the action got catched, then we would perform save with the file name. And once that file name got read in, we will use the file name to create a file output string, and also we will read for the file output string from the buffer output string. And then from the text area, we will get text, and then get number of bytes, and then put into the buffer. And the buffer with the buffer size will be write out through the output string, that is the buffered output string with the file output string to the file. And then on the status bar, it will show that the file has been saved. Let's run the program. Click and run. The initial frame is very small. This area is a menu bar, and we have file menu and help. Click help, it has About. When you click About, the message will be shown. And if you click the File button, the File menu bar will be shown. Then we click Open, and let's click this buffer reader demo.java. So the file has been read in through the buffer. And then the status bar is shown that this buffer reader demo.java is open. And because the view is too small, let's stretch it. Right here is the program and the file we open. Let's put in the 999 right here. And then let's save the file. And then let's quit the program. Now let's re-enter it, the program. Let's open the same file. The file has been read in. Let's enlarge it. The file has been written with the 999. Let's remove them and then save again. And then let's close and open again. So this test.j file chooser is a simple notepad. You can open file and then edit and then save. And then all of these operations are done with the buffered reader and the buffered writers. Thank you. Bye.